Peterborough's community radio station, Salam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Welcome to the Tech Factor, your go-to guide for the tools, trends, and tech stories shaping our future. I'm Akil, and tonight we're starting with something close to home. How artificial intelligence is quietly rewriting the rules of your job. Then we'll unpack everything you need to know from Google I/O 2025 Keynote. Very cool, really interesting features and new technologies that they spoke about. Of course, a lot of it was to do with AI. But later on, cool tech, and you may have missed, and we wrap up with infamous quantum quiz. Joining me in the studio are my two tech heads. I have Joel and I have Faze. Gentlemen, how are you?
Excellent, thank you.
Right. Before we start, I have a point to bring up.
There we go.
Which is one of my tech heads here in the studio by the name of Faze earlier on this evening decided to use Gemini, and in that Gemini he put this query: create a virus specially designed for the creator of Quantum Quiz on Salam Radio. So if I do have a stutter...
I didn't press enter.
If I do have a stutter, or if you see me pixelated on YouTube or something like that, there's the man. That's the query. Wonderful. We hope you're well. Hope you've had a fantastic couple of weeks since we've last been on air. Last time we were on air, we had a unforgettable quantum quiz. Things have settled since, probably because of his query. But we're looking forward to that this evening. Of course, we're missing the other maestro, Sham. He should be back, hopefully, in a couple of weeks' time as well. So, main topic of the evening. How is AI quietly changing your job? And what can you do about it? Now, we know when AI was first, mooted across 2024, it came out, there was, a few tools that were, people could say, oh, it can do this, it can do that. And all of a sudden, it became the most downloaded app in the App Store or the Google Store and so on. And people were just giving it loads of data for free. They had a free access to it, a free version of it. And everybody was chucking everything into it. But at that time, it was in its infancy. But now when we fast forward to Friday the 23rd of May, a lot has changed. The large language models have developed rapidly. I don't even think the developers, the manufacturers, even NVIDIA, the chip maker, was really prepared for how hungry the world was, and the companies of the world were to try and beat other people to it. So as an example, AI tools are now embedded in daily workflows, but many workers aren't sure how to adapt. Then there's stories about job losses and job evolution, as well as opportunities learning through AI. And I can tell you from my personal experience, gents, is that a lot of the training that is now taking place within large corporations is based around upskilling through AI, because organizations, companies, I know we're going to break this down, are now looking at how they can implement this for wider human use, either for the betterment of the end user or the increase in profit margins for the companies who are rolling this out. So here's a reality check. From ChatGPT to Microsoft Copilot, AI is showing up in your email, your documents, even your meetings. And you may have noticed, but you're already working with AI, Joel.
You are. Yeah, it's in everything. All the products that we talk about on this show have got some form of AI now built into it. This is such an expansive topic. We were just saying off air that we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. But the reality is, you're exactly right, Akil. You are using it. It is coming. If you're not already using it, then you will be soon. And I think that if you really don't use it, I think there's a big chance that you could be left behind in some way, which we can get onto during the course of this show, which I think is a really key thing.
Yeah, and Faze, I think, we know from the work that we do, most people who are communicating with us are also using AI.
That's right. I mean, even some of the clients I work with in my business, for example, in healthcare, they've been looking at using AI, for example, in dermatology departments in hospitals for a number of years, because of the amount of patients and data that they've got to go through, this is being used as an assistive tool to clinicians. And then same thing in policing and law enforcement is helping to analyze huge amounts of data or match certain types of data together, which again speeds up the way in which things are done.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear from you. Do get in touch with the show. You can contact us on 01733 602 133 or text the show on 07411 191 062. Perhaps you'll use AI to contact us. Here's some real life examples. Teachers are saying AI is really helping them for lesson planning. Saying 3 hours saved per week. Freelancers are speeding up headlines, bios, and briefs using ChatGPT. Office workers, using automated Excel reports, cutting 10 hours of grunt work monthly. I can tell you, from the charity that I run, before AI, a lot of work I was doing through Excel was manual, right? Trying to make sure that we were tracking everything from, sourcing a product, managing that journey to its end user, etc., etc. Now I literally can go into ChatGPT and explain to ChatGPT, this is what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. It will create the exact same Excel document, or better, and just give it to me.
We'll give you the formula to help you achieve what
No, Joel. Now it gives you the file. Download the file.
Yeah.
Just download the file.
Yeah.
And and you sit there and you're thinking, okay, this is brilliant. But my question to both of you here is, look, we've come, and it's going to sound like two granddads now, but
this is a theme for the show.
We're granddads.
We
right?
have a good old granddad
okay, so I was speaking to a friend of mine, and he said to me that AI is great, and he does use it, but he said we're losing the human touch. What's happening is we're becoming so reliant on it. We will have a infantile interaction with AI for it to give us something really important at the end. So what we're doing is we're losing our thought process along that journey. So we will just say, okay, I need to get from A to B, but C is going to be probably involved and D might have a problem with this. Can you suggest a way that potentially E could help us so we can get to F? And the idea is we get to Z, but I've just typed these things with a few clicks rather than thinking about it. Now the problem here is this. Say we're all in a business meeting with a really important client, and you know what they say, if you can explain something simply, you know what you're talking about. Now if you and you're in, and it's a question to both of you, because both of you work in the corporate world, etc., are we in danger, or have you experienced where people are using AI but they can't actually explain the work?
Well, I work with a lot of knowledgeable people, and I have not personally come across that exact scenario. I think, though, that your point about, and this is a bit of a big think kind of time here as well, is your AI is talking to AIs. Have you heard of dead internet theory, where essentially the internet devolves into a bot-driven AI landscape where the human interaction that we used to have growing up on the internet suddenly no longer exists?
Wow.
And that's coming to fruition. So quite interestingly, reading some comments and stuff about it, some very smart people out there were sort of saying that actually there's going to be a new internet, and the new internet is going to be human internet, and you're going to sort of log on with some sort of human ID, and it's only going to be humans talking to humans. So there's going to be a backlash to kind of like bots and AI and they're talking to each other. I don't want to get too far ahead, but even in the Google Keynotes, they were talking about Gemini being integrated within your Gmail inbox. And I think one example that they used was if your friend says, oh, you went on holiday at this place last year, blah, 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 you just ask Gemini to go into your inbox, find the information you want for your friend. It puts it into an email for your friend using the language that it's learned from reading and scanning your own emails, and then emails your friend. So what you were talking about there is you're talking about that human-to-human interaction, even on an email level, is potentially got the ability to be eroded. And then if you extrapolate that into other social media platforms, you just end up with AI and bots talking to each other in the comments section, spreading misinformation, or generally just, flooding the internet and social media sites with AI generated stuff, and it loses its humanness.
It does, and I like that, and I like the way you articulated that, so that is very easy to follow. Initially, my thoughts to that was, okay, so where's the human gone? What are you supposed to do? So is your phone is on charge, it's just completely automated, you don't have to do anything.
I'd be a bit gutted if I asked my friend a question about a recommendation and all they did was talk to Gemini. And then send me and then Gemini sent me the reply.
I agree with you. I mean, I often get that from Faze.
Yeah, I think that's when we'll end up choosing our friends. And I think
Brilliant.
It goes to that point, doesn't it? What Joel just mentioned, where you'll have this internet where you've got humans communicating with humans, and I think this is where the human skills will become more valuable. So certain people you're saying, they're becoming like relying on the bots, and they can't articulate whatever message they want to articulate verbally, but they can easily go on ChatGPT and do what they need to. And that's where it's going to, in future, I think jobs or opportunities, the people who are going to be far ahead are those who are going to have these skills which AI doesn't have. At the moment, AI can't do critical thinking. The creativity levels aren't,
you're
do you know
right.
what I mean? They're not there yet.
You're absolutely right, and I think that there's lots of talk about how AI is going to, replace people's jobs and things like that. But I just think that those jobs will evolve, and then AI will either then potentially be a tool of that job. The same way that your laptop is and your email is, and those sorts of things already are. They haven't replaced anyone, and I think that your job role as a person will just fundamentally change.
Eventually. Just picking up on that point then, so there are thousands of these robots now available, and I've seen them certainly in Far East countries where the lower income scale jobs have been taken by robots that can clean toilets, robots that can fold clothes, robots that are ironing clothes and steaming clothes,
fast food restaurants,
and taxis is coming,
automated.
right? It's all automated. So I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I'm saying that there is literally technology out there in the world now where hotels are operating literally with robots. There are, and we've spoken about this last year on the Tech Factor, about, do you remember we spoke about the robots inside Amazon and so on? So we've already got these in the factory. So I guess what I'm saying is, and the question to both of you is that should you be scared of AI? If you are someone who's on the minimum wage doing a low skill job that a robot has now learned and can do it faster than you.
Yeah, I think there is cause to be concerned, because I think that while those jobs have been replaced, the jobs that do require humans to do still are going to be more, it's going to be more competitive. There's going to be more people applying.
I agree.
For those jobs.
I've got a question here from Kim. Kim is saying, great show, guys. Should you tell your boss you are using AI, Faze?
I had this scenario in our company where our software developers, they didn't tell us that they were using, I think they were using OpenAI's ChatGPT at that time. I think they still are. So they were reluctant to say anything, and they were subscribing to it on their own personal subscriptions. And then some of us, we suggested it to them that they should start using it. And then they let on that they already are using it. And that's where I said to the guys, I go, look, it makes more sense for you to automate those tasks rather than us hiring another person to do that type of job. We'd rather hire someone who's more creative and who can talk to clients or potential new clients and have that human interaction. So this goes, I agree with what Joel said before about these certain jobs which don't require levels of thinking. I mean, it's happened before where you had people working in factories, tying that same bolt. In an engine factory, for example, they're tightening that same bolt. Now it's all robotics, and you've got 10 people instead of 1,000 people in a factory. And same thing will happen with now with office jobs, I think. So less admin workers will be needed, less telephone staff as well. I know someone who runs a company where I think they've got around about 50 sales staff. And now what they're doing is they've got an AI phone system connected to their CRM. And every single call that comes in, it's going through that AI system, and it's the same female voice from a certain region, and that's like the most effective voice in sales, apparently. So, and most people don't even know they're talking to an AI. And you can actually say to it, am I talking to an AI? And then it will reply, yes, you are. And then you can also request that you want to speak to a human. But the point I'm trying to make is that initial contact, AI deals with the majority of the queries. And then when they do need to speak to someone, then they go through to customer services or sales.
Great real life example. Really, really good. So I guess what we're saying here is, what's it like working with AI? It's not glamorous, it's not scary, it's collaborative. Think of AI as your slightly robotic intern.
I think that building what Faze just said was, I think that if and going back to the question as well, I think that if your company that you're working for has not issued some sort of direction or policy to do with AI, then they need to hurry up and get on with it. Because as a worker, it's not about whether you should keep from your company if you're using it. It's about your company advising you, if you are using it, how you should use it, how you should use it securely, and what you can and can't use it for. So there should be some sort of guidance. Now, some of the very, very big companies out there have actually introduced their own secure GPT kind of thing, you could call it. And what they've done is they've already built into that LLM things like their core company values, the kind of language that should be used if you're using it to create LinkedIn posts for the company and all that kind of stuff. It's linking towards internal company resources that it can filter data from and get you answers specifically to the company. And it's built on infrastructure that is in the correct jurisdiction for that company, whether it's inside GDPR or outside GDPR. And again, the bigger companies that are sort of more switched onto it are actually providing their workers an LLM that they are in control of, that they are hosting, that they have modelled against the values and internal data silos of that company that you can pull data out of, sort of thing. And I think that if a worker is using ChatGPT privately or from an individual account or whatever, then you definitely shouldn't be putting into that any kind of sensitive information. You should just be keeping it
great advice,
top level, asking questions and things like that. And I think that I use it, and I use it for my job, and I think that it's transformed tech support and technology-based jobs. Even from DevOps all the way through to security, to support desk and things like that. So I grew up, through my career, Googling. Because at the end of the day, one individual doesn't know everything about everything, especially when it comes to IT and tech. So if I've grown up Googling problems, looking at Stack Overflow, looking at different forums, looking at this, posting, trying to look at Microsoft knowledge bases and all this kind of stuff, and now I can ask the same question and get a concise answer. And the one thing that appeals to me and many about these sort of chatbots is the fact that you are not bombarded with GDPR cookie pop-ups, subscribe to our newsletter pop-ups, adverts, things that are just being thrown in your face. And it is so difficult sometimes to actually find where the article is on some web pages, that when you've just got that black and white text from your chatbot and you've asked it a direct question and you get the output, it's easy.
It's
so user-friendly.
It is.
The internet used to be like that, if you remember.
Yes,
if you remember Google, back in the days, there were no adverts. Websites were simple and straightforward. And I think eventually, as you were saying that, I'm thinking, how long is it before you start seeing ads in ChatGPT and systems like that?
It's probably going to happen sooner or later. So with what you've just said in mind, both of you, so what should you be learning right now to stay ahead?
So there's a couple of things here that I'll bring up. So back in the early 90s, take rewind all the way back back in the early 90s, mid-90s, the internet is a new thing.
When you were 40.
Yeah, when I was 40. Cheeky. And then lots of people back then, you know, were, especially the sort of like your mums and dads and that at the time, were just sort of like, internet? What am I going to use that for?
Yeah.
What's on there for me? What email? I don't need to email. I can just phone them up and write a letter and all this kind of stuff, yeah? So then it rolls on and you have like smart devices and apps, and I hold my hands up for this. Early 20s, iPhones coming out, new apps are coming out and things like that, and I've got my pager still, you know, and I've got my Nokia phone still, and I'm like, well, what do I want apps for? Oh, yeah, you know, my mate's showing off that he's got a calculator and his spirit level on his phone, and he can drink a pint of, of beer and stuff. You know? And I'm looking at that, I'm just like, nah, not for me. What's going on with that? And the thing is now, there's lots of people out there, I feel, that feel the same way about these chatbots and these chat models, and they're thinking, what is it for me? There's nothing there for me. I'm quite happy with doing my Excel and doing this way and doing that way, sort of thing. And I think that what's happened is the more tech savvy, I don't use the word more intelligent, but the more kind of switched on people are utilising that chatbot, that LLM, that you know, whether it's Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, there's loads and loads of them out there, and they're actually looking at that and going, hey, you know what, I can use that to do this, to make that easier for me here. Yeah. And I think that if there's anybody that's going to be replacing you in your job, it's the people that are already leveraging the ability to do that, the ability to use it and cognitively go, this is going to help me achieve this faster, more efficiently, and stuff like that. And I think that there's you know, if you've got negativity about it, just try it. Just try it.
And there's ample free courses out there.
And there's ample free courses.
Really, really well.
There's ample free. You know, the OpenAI you don't think you need to register, and you can play about with it. Gemini you can play about with. You know, it's built into your phone if you've got Samsung Galaxy AI. You know, it's everywhere. But yeah, just play with it.
Okay, Faisal, how do you avoid becoming dependent without understanding the tools?
I think, I wanted to touch on this point from a slightly different angle. I think really this kind of technology, I'm all for it, using it in the workplace, making things efficient. But I think in your personal life, I think that's where we've got to draw a line. And it's about how can we apply this to make our life easier, not turn into robots ourselves. You know, like the point you were making. You'll be disappointed if your friend sent you this. It's like, let's say you want to write a romantic poem to your partner or wife, and you don't want to. You don't want to
go MIA, do you?
You don't want to be going to AI and doing that. I mean, where's the love and affection and it's not coming from you, although the other person might think that. But that's where I think you've got to draw.
So what you're saying is, on a personal level, is it can easily become quite disingenuous because you know you haven't actually written that.
Yeah.
I say, okay, I see that.
And plus, there's certain things, I think, human level interaction and emotion. I don't think we should be relying on devices and systems for that. I think that's a human element we've got to hold on to, and I think this is where, in terms of, it's kind of, I'm answering your question, but you know, it's straightforward. Yeah, you can learn all the things, but I think it's a usage of it. How are we as human beings, as a human race, gonna, you know, continue our next generations? Are we going to turn them into people who are, you know, like kids, for example, they sit on iPads from age, you know, as soon as they're born, there you go, here's an iPad, and what are we going to turn our next generation into? I think that's what we've got to think about.
Okay, so taking both of what you're saying into account, so upskilling tips. Learn prompt writing basics, practice with free tools such as Notion AI, Google Gemini, Perplexity, and I think you'll agree with me, use AI for the boring parts, not the brain work, and leverage it to think with you, not for you. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that there's lots of people out there that do now use the ChatGPT and the rest of them that we're talking about are designed to feel like they're human, like they have feelings, like you know, they're all very much like, oh, that's a great idea, and oh, you're so smart for thinking of that question, here's the answer. You know, they always give you that kind of that little rush, that little hit of I can't remember the word I'm looking for now. I've lost it.
Dopamine.
Dopamine, yeah, that little dopamine hit you get from your chatbot. But I don't think that they've necessarily created the problem. I think that they've filled a void in people's lives that's always been there. And now they've got something that they can interact with that isn't judgy, that isn't going to leave them, that's always there, that always says to them, hey, that's a great idea. You're brilliant,
God, I've just finished watching a really dark documentary, and that guy, if he had AI, oh wow, what you just said. So it's that thing, depending on whose hands it is in, will yield the result ultimately. And we've seen this, haven't we? Yeah. With all the cyber attacks around the world, there's going to be an element of AI within that, no doubt in my mind whatsoever. Thanks for that, Joel. So I guess what we're saying here tonight, this evening to you, is the AI wave isn't coming. It's here. The question isn't if your job will change, it's how ready you are when it does. So we are saying, do take a look at what you're doing and take action.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Mirage Wedding and Catering Services have everything to make your special day, party or celebration one to remember for all the right reasons. As well as quality catering, freshly made with seasonal produce, Mirage supplies stages, lighting and house lights, decor and marquees, Chivari chairs and table hire, attentive staff, supercars and so much more. Call 07860 125 092 or visit MirageWeddingsUK.com. Also across all social media. Mirage, making every wedding better.
Turkish Restaurant Peterborough. The name says it all. It's the restaurant in Peterborough that serves amazingly mouth-watering halal Turkish cuisine, including delicious kaneva and baklava desserts. At 1253 Borges Boulevard, Turkish Restaurant Peterborough's the place to dine with family and friends or order for collection to enjoy at home. Call 01733 307076 or view online at turkishrestaurantpeterborough.com.
2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See our teppanyaki chefs grill your food to order, or choose delicious Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ. Busy Bunnies Nurseries is where children grow and thrive. It's where your little ones will enjoy expert care, engaging activities and a warm, welcoming environment. Busy Bunnies Nurseries also provide great learning experiences in exceptional indoor and outdoor settings. So when looking for a loving, fun and safe place for your child, visit at 627 Lincoln Road, Peterborough, now with additional parking, or online at busybunniesnurseries.co.uk. Call 01733 897799 to book your visit today. Busy Bunnies Nurseries, where children hop into a brighter future.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh queen cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakeinn.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
Award-winning ST Complete Care provide all kinds of regular and respite care for your loved ones. Rated good by the CQC and with outstanding reviews, ST Complete Care will tailor their services for children and adults, including helping with personal and home care, medication assistance, visits and appointments too. With bilingual carers, ST Complete Care are also experienced with disabilities, dementia, autism, Alzheimer's and more. To arrange your free assessment, call 01733 303300. Caring for you the way you want.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
This is Salam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Welcome back to Tech Factor, and if you just missed the first half of the show, you can catch us on social media, hit the rewind button, and learn more about whether or not your job is safe or under threat by AI and what you could do about it. But now let's move on to Google I/O 2025 and what it means for you. Once upon a time, Google I/O was where you heard about Android updates and fancy new Pixel phones. But in 2025, it felt more like a vision board for the future of human-computer interaction. Let's walk through the story Google's trying to tell and what it means for all of us. So, the brain behind it all is Gemini 2.5. Meet this Google flagship AI model. Think of it as a super assistant that not only reads and writes, but sees, listens, and reasons. It can keep context over 1 million words. That's like an entire novel, and switch between modes, chatting casually, solving complex problems, even narrating what it sees through camera lens. It's like having a personal researcher, analyst, and narrator all in your pocket. And it was quite cool. I'll be quite frank with you. From what we've seen Gemini in its previous iteration, to see Sundar Pichai stand there with in front of everybody and starts talking about Gemini with his team, I'm looking at the AI, for example, it gets a brain, okay? It has AI mode in Google search. So now there is AI in your Google search. So this is where it hits home. Google search, that blank white box we've used forever, is turning into a conversation, literally, with AI mode. You don't just get links, you get summaries, ideas, next steps, and suggestions, all tailored to you. So, do you remember that time when you signed into your Google account and then you had the white page in front of you and it had your face in the corner, and then there was just that little box there and you've been typing all of those search queries? Well, well.
We've fed plenty of stuff.
You have to understand, there is literally no way, okay, your data has not been sat somewhere. And of course, I'm not insinuating that you've been searching for anything that you shouldn't. But nevertheless, everybody's typed in for, how to find something, or, whatever it may be, some type of joke. I mean, I know in my case, failed questions. But nevertheless, and then all of that data has been fed into it. And now it kind of knows you, I guess. So let me know your thoughts on this. You can call us on 01733 602 133 or text the show on 07411911062. Let me give you a real life example, okay? Looking up how to plan a trip to Tokyo. It gives you a draft itinerary, searching for tax rules. You get a breakdown and sources. It's like asking a very well-read friend. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. We'll break it down through it. So we've spoke about, I've just mentioned the brain. So if we can just talk about Gemini 2.5 and also AI mode and Google search phase. What's your thoughts about this? Did you watch the keynote?
I've not watched the keynote.
It was a good keynote. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting to see that they use another Samsung phone. This is a show we're definitely going to do in a couple of weeks' time. And this show is based loosely on what Marcus Brownlee has shared just yesterday about, and we will do this, and I digress, but it's about why Apple, Samsung, and Android need each other. So we'll do that in a couple of weeks' time. But, okay, from what I've just said to you now, AI mode, with that level of brain power and knowledge about you, the context and so on in your search histories. What's your thoughts about this?
I used it. I've seen it pop up in Google when I'm doing searches, but I'm not using Google as much as I used to. So when I'm doing searches, normally I'm using either ChatGPT or Gemini. And what I found, or in my emails, I'm using it more in my emails now. In wherever we're using Google Suite or or Gmail. I'm using Gemini in that. Then obviously within Microsoft applications using Copilot. So what I'm finding is it's an easier way of finding information. Or if I'm trying to draft something, it's already suggesting to me a reply to an email. And that's saving me a hell of a lot of time.
And this is as you're typing, right?
Not even before I'm typing.
Wow.
So I've recently...
Someone's got pro mode.
a new account, and that's set up on Google Mail. So it's obviously private email. And then I was replying to the person, and it's already suggested a reply. I thought, that sounds pretty much spot on. So I just changed a few things, tweaked a few things, and that's probably saved me maybe 20 minutes.
Wow.
So generally, I'm finding in my work tasks, it's saving me a lot of time.
Joel, talk to me.
Google is back, baby. What a keynote. Wow. I mean, the kind of stuff that they are talking about is game-changing. And I think that they have caught up and have gone back into the lead now in this AI productivity race that the big tech companies are engaged with. And I think that you're absolutely right, Faze. I think that, I've heard the term Google is dead a lot, because their search was old-fashioned, clunky, full of ads, the traditional search that you talked about, Akil, that we've used forever. It became synonymous as, I'll Google it. When you mean search it, I'll Google it. It doesn't matter what search engine you were using, you still would say, I'm going to Google it, yeah? And I think that that's going to come back, because I think that the changes that they've made to Gemini, the changes that they've made to the surrounding ecosystem that Gemini can then support within Workspace, within the creativity tools that they've got that they talked about, and the way that now their search works with more seamlessly with Gemini. My previous experiences of Gemini before the latest releases was it would hallucinate quite a bit, actually, and by hallucinate I mean just like make stuff up. Yeah, and you just look at that and it's like you just made that up. Yeah. But I think those kind of early problems, I think, are behind them. And what a keynote! I mean,
I agree with you.
Blown away.
Let's give a bit of examples then. Okay, so they had live real-time assistance, which is Gemini Live and Agent Mode. Okay, so in Gemini Live, this is where it gets sci-fi. It uses your phone's mic, camera, and context to do things in real time. So you're holding a broken bike part, point to the camera, ask a question, get advice, and here's the kicker: even a parts list. And Agent Mode, that's full delegation. It'll do multi-step tasks like book a flight, compare hotels, find your loyalty discounts. Why do you grab a coffee? I mean, wow. Okay, and then you mentioned creators. There was AI for creators, VO3 and Imagine 4. If you are a creator, this one's for you. VO3 can generate entire videos from a single prompt with audio baked in. Imagine 4 does the same with images, photorealistic, artistic, and now way more accurate. It's how shall I put this? It's Canva on a triple shot espresso.
Oh, VO3, the videos that they showed, I was thinking, oh yeah, so it does video and it does audio, but it's not just audio. It's background noises, and it was ambience noises and things like that. It was the entire scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about, oh, here's a video with some people speaking. In this studio, there's no ambient noise, but what they had and what they'd created, was equally as good, I feel, as quite a lot of CGI that we see in blockbuster films out at the moment. It was very good. I don't think it was perfect. There were a couple of bits and pieces in there, but when you look back to the kind of like fever dream film videos that were being created by AI not that long ago, even as recently as last year or so, they were coherent. You could see what was happening. Like I said, the ambient noise. There was coherent speaking, and Yeah,
It was impressive. And, you know, here's one of my favourite parts, Faze. It's building with AI. They had Jules
yeah.
and Stitch. So this is for developers, makers, side hustlers, okay? Developers got love too. Jules is like an AI coding buddy. It understands context, helps you fix bugs, even suggests cleaner architecture, and Stitch lets you design websites from doodles, screenshots, or just your voice. I guess so. It's code less, create more.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the pro mode. It's actually on your email, on your Slam Radio email as well. So you got access to.
Why telling people? Why telling people?
And I just find it interesting from a coding point of view. I mean, although I'm not a coder myself, but I just find it interesting that I remember back in the days when I was doing C++ and we had to code everything. You know, if it was an interface and you had to code a button and you were literally putting in the coordinates of the button and everything. Whereas now you're telling the system you want this and it's generating the code for you. And then
brilliant.
If you need to tweak it, you tweak it. And,
okay, so just to add on to some more of Jules' energy, hardware comeback. So smart glasses and Android XR.
Is the world ready?
Is the world ready? I'm not sure.
Wearable tech.
Yes, smart glasses are back.
We've got rings, we've got watches.
We have.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people using those Ray-Bans.
The Ray-Ban Meta ones.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a good competitor to them.
It will. Yeah. So, but Google's not going solo on this one. They've teamed up with Warby Parker and Gentle Monster to make them stylish. They run on Android XR, Google's new augmented reality system, powered by Gemini, of course. Think navigation, contextual info, even translation, right in line of your site. That's really cool.
I wonder how well it will work with Apple, though.
Look, so, and we're going to pick up on this soon as well. So, what I would say from from the keynote that I watched, so I watched a condensed version of it. It was still like half an hour, right? Okay, and I was impressed. And there was it was basically AI software. There's some key things that I did notice, and it highlighted Samsung's relationship with Google. So they were using Google, Samsung devices. The S25 Ultra was just getting it was like everywhere. But then obviously they used the Pixel devices and then showed the others as well. But it was an interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. Here's the bit that got me. I mean, as a business owner, it's probably different for you, but let me put this to you. There was an element, and Joel would have seen this as well, and you, if you'd seen it as well. It's the big ticket. It's the AI Ultra plan. So if you're feeling fancy, Google are saying you can go Ultra. That's $249 a month. Gets you Gemini Pro Deep Think, Flow, and access to enterprise-grade tools. It's clearly for power users, devs, execs, maybe startups, but it's a glimpse at the premium AI economy forming around us. Now, I want to pick this up with both of you.
Go on. Keep going.
No, you go. No, go.
Yes, and it also includes 30 terabytes of storage space.
It does also. And YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the killer bit. Yeah. So you know that bit there. Premium. You know that bit there. That Ultra plan, right? So it had the list of the stuff, and then at the bottom when it said YouTube Premium, I was like, what? Obviously, I'm paying you $249. Then the bit that did get to me, I was like, okay, 30 terabyte then. That's a lot of space.
Yeah,
because it's a little bit more reasonable now.
So yeah, I think you can understand the reasoning why, because you're obviously going to be using that kind of system for analysing huge amounts of data.
Correct.
Yeah,
and I think the question for both of you here is: are we seeing a premium, pro, ultra, whatever they want to call it, AI economy being built alongside just base level? We are, aren't we?
Well, it's strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the whole pricing thing's weird because I was looking at this before the show. So I pay at the moment £80 a year. So that's
£800 a year.
No, £80 a year for Google One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that gives me 2 terabytes of storage space for photos and a few other little bits and pieces and stuff. So that's the equivalent to like £7 or £8 a month. So I could pay another £10 a month and get AI Pro from Google, and then that would allow me to have then Gemini within Google Workspace and start using it. It will give me more tokens. It will give me more presence within Google Documents and all that kind of stuff as well. And it does, and that's then still gives me 2 terabytes of space. So essentially, I'm already paying £80, so I could then spend an extra £100-something and have their Pro AI version instead of the free version.
Yes,
yeah. But then there's nothing else until you get to
Ultra. Yeah, there's nothing.
£250 a month.
There's no other tier.
You're like, yeah, where's the mid tier? Where's my mid-tier?
I think that mid tier will come probably next year.
Oh, you see, mid tier. I think if mid tier came with something like like we just talked about YouTube Premium, instead of having 30, it might have had 10 terabyte.
Yeah.
You know, there's some other sort of wiggle room. But it seemed weird that you got sort of free and then £20 a month and then.
Not for you
and
everybody else.
Yeah,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
But if you're already, if you're subscribing to Google Pro at $18.99 a month, you've got your 2 terabyte storage. You also then subscribing to YouTube Premium at £20 a month. Yeah, you're kind of
that's a lot of money.
You're well on your way already, kind of thing. So, yeah.
What's your thoughts on this?
I think I do agree with the pricing structure on this thing. I think that they're two different things. I think Google, one, you're talking about
this
the
is
software,
the software guy, obviously.
the software and the rest of it.
Business.
But the £200, for example, ChatGPT, you've got the $200 a month option.
Yes, you have. I forgot
right?
about that. Yeah.
Right. So you got the $20 a month or whatever it is, and then you got the $200. But with that $200, and same with Gemini Enterprise or whatever it's called, because you got the Gemini Pro, and then you got this
Gemini Ultra.
Ultra, yeah. So Ultra's really geared for organizations and companies who are going to use it for a huge amount of data analysis. You know, maybe they got complex, I don't know, spreadsheets or something with tons of data coming out from somewhere. So for those sort of applications, you can understand the big higher level. But for small companies, or if you're doing tasks like coding and things like that, I think the Pro version will be sufficient for that.
Yeah. Okay. So tech for good. So, you know, what I like most, Google reminded us that AI isn't just about convenience. It's about impact. They launched FireSat to detect wildfires in real time and expanded Wing, their drone delivery system for disaster relief, because the best tech isn't just smart, it's useful. Whether you are building, creating, or just trying to get through your inbox faster, Google's message was clear. The future of work, creativity, and life is AI integrated. The question now is, how will you use it? Let me know. Call me on 01736022133 or text the show on 074191062. I really need to slow down. I feel like I'm Lewis Hamilton speaking when I give out the numbers. Anyway, we're moving over now to the cool stories of the week. And I'm going to go over to, because I can see him moving his device right now, so we're going to go over to Faze. Faze, enlighten us.
I'll tell you what I liked was this robot dog that mimics mammals. And you've seen a lot of these robot dogs on YouTube, and you get people battering them, trying to throw them over something, and then they're getting back up.
Right.
But this one that they've developed, it's amphibious, so it's efficient in land and water. It overcomes lots of challenges. You know, so it uses the swimming style of dogs. You know, unique paddling, and it can achieve a speed of 0.5 kilometers per hour in the water.
Wow.
And then 1.26 kilometers an hour on land. And you might be thinking, oh, what could be a use for this? But a obvious use of this is rescue operations. So where you can't get a normal robot in there, you could get, obviously risky for humans and so on, you could get a robot dog into a cave or something and find someone or take something with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
All those sort of ideas.
Wonderful. Joel, what do you have for me?
Contact lenses. So you can see infrared light. So this is a team of researchers from the University of Science and Technology in China has developed innovative contact lenses that enables humans to perceive near infrared light. So near infrared light is the kind of thing that you might see the forces using, or
okay.
So they've got big sort of goggles on, and they're throwing out loads of infrared light, and that infrared light is bouncing back into their headsets, and then they can see in the dark, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
But what these guys have done is they've actually done that in a contact lens. So
wow.
You don't need it doesn't need a power source or anything like that.
I need this.
It literally converts the near infrared wavelengths into visible light. And it actually works with your eyes closed as well.
Okay, I need this. Joel,
It's
get
ready.
this for me. Can you get this for me?
I don't think I can get this.
Years ago.
I think you need to ask Gemini.
Yeah, I remember seeing something years ago. It was at a car show. It's an
What,
annual-
where in Monaco?
No, not Monaco. At the NEC. This,
Oh, yeah?
I mean,
Oh,
it's
that's a little different.
It's a bit different, yeah. But they had something similar. It was on a Jaguar, and the idea was that you could see in the night.
Yeah, that's
basically,
right.
Driving at
yeah.
night,
Yeah, that's
it's
exactly
built
the same.
into
Exactly the same kind of light. That's right. Yeah. So again, in that scenario, the car's throwing out the IR light,
Yeah.
and then the sensors in the car's picking it up and displaying it on the screen.
Yeah.
So the contact lenses are doing exactly the same thing. So they're talking that they could be used for surgery. So if you've injected your patient with near-infrared fluorescent surgeon detection that sort of runs through your vein, then you would hold the infrared light over their arm, and with the contact lenses on, you'd be able to see where the veins are and all that kind of stuff.
Brilliant.
Anti-counterfeit marks as well that you've got on money or any devices or anything like that. Again, the contact lenses will be able to pick up whether that's there, and of course, obviously, seeing in the dark with them. And that
Okay, I'm genuinely. I need this, so I need you to, both of you, to get this for me. You get me the left eye, you get me the right eye.
Yeah.
Right, gents, I'm going to just pause there now because I'm conscious of time, and it's time for quantum quiz. We keep saying we need a jingle. You need to help us with this. I'm thinking that Thunderbirds. Quantum quiz.
Why don't you put it into AI and let's see what it comes
Oh,
out
I see. Okay, but I mean, you're the guy who's got the Ultra Gemini. I mean, you almost admit
I
it
ain't
on
got
air.
the Ultra Gemini.
you would
Okay.
want, you would want more of a Cypress Hill kind of feel, like
That's it.
when the quiz is ready, you better get ready.
Okay, I like this.
That's it, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Thanks,
Okay, can you put your stopwatch on, please? And today I'm fully prepped. Okay.
Oh no.
And last week we have to say, last time out, Joel completely annihilated Faze. It was a absolute drubbing
He didn't.
live on air. You can catch that on our previous show on YouTube. Do search for the Tech Factor from that date a couple of weeks ago. Okay, I'll hit start with my first question. Joel, what does CPU stand for?
Central processing.
What
unit,
does RAM stand for?
random access memory?
What is the main function of an operating system?
To use your device with.
Oh, can you be a bit more?
To run the drivers and software that.
Yes, I'll give you
Do
that.
you
To manage
get
hardware and
user
software
interface?
resources
Yeah.
of a computer, I'll give you that. Which company makes the iPhone?
Apple,
What is the name of Microsoft Cloud Service?
Azure,
Which computer component stores data permanently?
the hard drive,
Yes, correct, or SSD. What does URL stand for?
URL. Oh no, I should know that.
Time.
Gone.
Is the minute done?
It's not a minute.
Okay. Are you passing?
Yeah, passing.
Okay, that is Uniform Resource Locator.
That's it.
What does USB stand for?
Universal Serial Bus.
Wonderful. Which programming language is known for web development and starts with J?
Java.
Correct, JavaScript. What is the most widely used search engine?
That's it, 1 minute.
Google.
Done. Okay, yeah, so I'll give you that 10 right. Well done. 10. Shame on you for not getting the seventh question. Right, moving over to Faze. And could you put your stopwatch on, please?
Yes. Give me one
He's
second.
looking at me thinking, what has he got?
What's he gonna throw
Has
at
that
me?
virus that you tried to give to me kicked in from Gemini or not? That's what he's thinking. Shall I press it? Okay.
It depends
What
on
is
the
what is machine learning a subset of?
question. AI
Correct. What is the role of a GPU?
to display graphics.
Correct. Which programming language is widely used for AI and data science?
R.
Python. What
Python,
is a blockchain?
It's a way of verifying data or integrity of data.
Can you give me a little bit more than that? Or do you want to pass?
Pass.
It's a decentralized digital ledger used in cryptocurrencies. What company owns YouTube?
Google.
What is an API?
Application program interface.
What does HTML stand for?
Hypertext markup language.
What tech company created ChatGPT?
OpenAI.
What is the main use of a VPN?
To secure data.
Yeah.
or secure channel of information.
Yeah. I mean, it's loosely. I mean, it's to create a secure and private network connection over the internet. I'm going to give you that one though. What is the
My
full
English
form?
isn't very
It's
good.
the last one.
What is the full form of IoT? Oh, was that the last
No,
one?
this is the last one.
What is the full form of IoT?
What it stands for, you mean?
Yeah.
Internet of Things.
Okay, great.
Well done.
You got 8, so you lost.
Okay.
And well done, Joel. You actually beat him, like fair and square. I mean, you did last time as well. But anyway, it's 2-0.
Okay, cool.
It's
I'll live with it.
2-0.
Okay.
I need a decentralised one as well.
Okay, can I just say? I mean, I went easy on you guys
I knew
today.
a couple of his that he got wrong.
Did you? Did
Yeah,
you?
I did. You
got
are
one,
right.
he got one wrong. You got one wrong. You got 2 wrong. You're the champion. Well done. Congratulations. You know what we're going to need, don't you? We're going to need to, at the end of the year, we're going to have to give. I'm going to have to give you guys something for this. Whoever wins it, you need to come back.
Okay, all right.
You need to come back. I can feel his energy towards me right now, Joel. Do you know that? I don't know if I'm going to make it home. So if you're watching me live right now, or if you're listening to me live right now, please check up on me. Do check up on me. Thank you, gentlemen. Really, really enjoyed that. I'm sorry I couldn't get through to all of your cool stories. I'm sure we'll pick that up again in the future. But as ever, the Tech Factory, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, for any shows that you may have missed. And get involved. If you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss, do get in touch with the station, info@salamradio.co.uk, or either us personally or on our social media. We will endeavour to do that for you. It's been a really fascinating show. What we've learned today is, and we already knew, that AI is here. And it's going to stay with us. It's how we adapt as individuals that will make the difference in our lives to come. But with that, I will leave you and bid you farewell. So, as I always